Hello, so today we're going to be looking at how to set up and use the NCBE Cauliflower cloning kit. So first of all, you're going to need to get all your equipment ready. Most of this is available in the kit, but you are going to need a few other items such as a plastic jug, measuring cylinder, heat-proof gloves and some cling film. So first of all, you're going to need to measure out 480 ml of water into your plastic jug. Next, you're going to add in the 4 sachets of cane sugar that are included with the kit. It is better to use cane sugar since it is purer than sugar produced from sugar beet. So once you've added in all of the sugar sachets, then give it a bit of a mix to dissolve in the water. Once you've done this, you're then going to add in the MS medium with agar that is provided in the kit. So pop the whole sachet into the jug and then give this a mix. It won't dissolve completely until it has been microwaved. You're then going to pop some cling film on the top of the jug and make a few air holes in the cling film before putting in the microwave. So you're going to microwave this for around 90 seconds, so about a minute and a half. This will obviously vary a little bit depending on how powerful your microwave is. So ours is an 800-watt microwave. So after 90 seconds, get it out, give it a bit of a mix, and then microwave it further for another minute or two until everything has dissolved. But you need to watch it while it's in the microwave to make sure it doesn't boil over. So that's had a good mix now, and then it's just going to go back into the microwave for another couple of minutes. So I'm using my heat-proof gloves now because this is actually quite hot. So just be aware of the agar because obviously it has been boiled now. Now if you are planning on growing your cauliflowers on, then at this point you want to split your media and then only add kynoton to half of it. So add half of the kynoton volume, which would be 0.65 millilitres, and then half without any kynoton. And if you are just going to make up all of your media with kynoton, then you can just add the whole of the vial. You can use pipette if you want to, but we find it easier just to pour it straight in. Give that a mix, and then that's ready now to cool down. So while your media is cooling down, if you haven't already done it, you can make up your Milton solution. So what you need to do is take 1 4-gram Milton tablet and dissolve this in 100 ml of distilled or deionized water. That is what you will now add to your media once it has cooled. So once you've waited about half an hour, you're then going to add your Milton solution to your media in either a fume hood or in a well-ventilated area to avoid the chlorine fumes from the Milton. So you're going to take 20 ml of the solution that you've just made up, and you're going to add this to the media. So we're using a 10 ml syringe twice. So again, give it a mix, and that's now ready. So you now want to move straight away on to pouring the media into your vials before it has a chance to set. So clean down your bench area with Virkon, wherever it is you're going to be setting up the vials, and then you're going to start laying out then the cauliflower cloning vials that come with the kit. So you want to put them down on the nice clean surface, face down with their lids next to them, just like we are here, and then get the readily prepared media. So now you're going to pour this up to the first line and then put the lid on loosely like this so that they are poured up to the first line. Now you're going to need to work fairly quickly so that the media doesn't have a chance to set. It sets at around 42 degrees. So keep going for all of them. It does take a bit of time to do the whole set, but they can then be stored for a number of weeks afterwards. So once you've done all of them, as I said, you leave the caps loosely on to allow any steam to release if needed. It is quite a soft media, but it takes around an hour to set. Once it has set, you can then put the lids on properly. These can then be stored for up to 6 weeks in the fridge. So lids on all of them, and then you can put them away to store or go straight into the cauliflower cloning experiment. Okay, time to move on to some cauliflower cloning then. You will need a cauliflower. So first off, you will need to sterilise the benches where you're going to be doing the cauliflower cloning with the students. So give them a good wipe down with some Vercom. You are going to need some disinfectant for sterilising the tongs and the cauliflower pieces. So this time you're going to use half a Milton tablet, which is going to be dissolved in 80 millilitres of deionised or distilled water. So we're just doing this into a beaker. So this is what you're going to now need for each pair of students doing the cauliflower cloning. And then I'm going to move on to then trying to cut off some small little parts of the cauliflower from around the edge. So they want to be small but not too tiny basically. So you take your scalpel and carefully cut off some of the little tiny florets. So we've got 4 quite nice sized pieces of cauliflower there. So 4 good florets, which we are going to put into the media in a moment. So you need to disinfect your forceps in the disinfectant solution that we made up a moment ago, and also pour some of that into a little vial that you're going to transfer the cauliflower florets into in a moment. So then using your sterile forceps, transfer the little pieces of cauliflower into the vial with the disinfectant in. Now, starter time for 15 minutes, and then during that 15 minutes you're going to give it a little mix every so often to make sure that the cauliflower pieces are being properly disinfected. So once the 15 minutes is over, then you're going to use your sterile forceps to transfer the cauliflower floret into one of the vials of media that we made up before. Now it's just 1 cauliflower floret per vial of media. So you can either pour off the disinfectant and then take the cauliflower piece from the bottom, or as we've done here, we find it a bit easier just to take it straight from the sort of floating on the top of the disinfectant. Now, when you put it into the media, you just press it down very gently. You're not trying to insert it right down into it, but you do want to put it gently into the media. So again, here we're just taking it from the disinfectant and then putting it gently in. And if you have any trouble getting it to come off, you can just sort of shake it off and then carefully use the forceps to put it where you want it within the media. Right, pop the lid back on and then that's done. So these are then the 4 florets that we have done today and being left on a sunny windowsill. And this is now after 5 days. You can see they're sort of starting to grow a little bit. After 1 week, you can see some green starting to come in and they are very slightly bigger. This is after 2 weeks and you can see some definite changes. You're starting to get a little bit of green growth, a few little shoots. This is 2.5 weeks. You can see some real little shoots starting to come out now and some green growth. After 3 weeks, some of them are starting to sport slightly crazy hairdos with leaves and things. And now this is after 5 weeks, and they really are starting to look like little cauliflower plants now. I'm really enjoying the sunny windowsill. Now at this point, what we did is we made up more media without kinetin. Now you may have done this at the beginning and only used half of your media, We didn't, so we made it up at this point. So you just do it in the same way, but without kynoton, and then we move the clones then into the new media without the kynoton to hopefully encourage root growth. So then a few weeks later, after they've been left in the kynoton-free media, we then planted them up into some soil and left them to grow on our sunny windowsill. And that is where we will leave our cauliflowers. So I hope you have as much fun doing this as we did. Thank you very much for watching.